Tips for saving money when building your first house. Coming up. Hi everyone, this is Dr. Ernesto from AttaBoyCowBoy, and in this channel we give you health and wealth tips to help you be more successful. Now we're working on this project back here, and I just want to share with you some of the ins and outs and some of the strategies we've been using to save money when you're building your first building. So let me give you a tour of the building to give you some of the strategies and things that we've learned to help save you some time and some money. So let's start from the basics here. This is about a year in. This could have probably been done in about 2-3 months, but you know, we didn't have a lot of experience. We've worked on other projects, but we had other people be the general contractor for us. On this project, we did it, and we did all the subcontracting. So mainly the thing is to make sure that you have all your permits ready. We didn't know we need to get sprinklers, so we had to delay and wait, and we're still waiting right now for the sprinklers to get approved. We also didn't anticipate the driveways taking so long to be approved. We've been waiting already 3 months, and it looks like it might be at least another month before they're approved. Because when you cut into the driveway here, or the sidewalk, you have to contact Bureau of Engineering, Department of Transportation, and Department of Building and Safety. And all three of them have to be in accordance or in agreement for you to be able to proceed. Even though the plans were already approved and we had a permit, you still have to go through an extra process, and that takes a while. Also, the water takes about 6 months to get your water services, because they have to come and cut into the street, and they have to put in new meters for the property. The gas meters takes about a month or two. So a lot of these things you can actually apply for and get into place before you even start your project. That's what I would recommend. The electrical panel to get the meter spot, that takes about 3 months. Again, we didn't start till after we started constructing, because we thought we had we had a permit. We thought we were fine, but it turns out all these things are separately done. So just because you have a permit doesn't mean you can do it. Now, you're going to be really excited. You're going to want to do a lot of work, and you want to stay within the hours. It's usually between 8 and 5 o'clock, Monday through Saturday. If you go outside that, you're going to have problems with the neighbors, and you're going to have conflicts. You're going to be calling the city on you. You're going to be calling the police on you. It's going to make you waste a lot of time. So you want to keep a good rapport with your neighbors. Don't blast the radio. You know, if your workers are playing loud music, tell them to be conscientious. A big issue we've been having is trash. You know, a lot of these guys, they're not real careful with their trash. They eat McDonald's, they eat whatever, burritos, and they throw the wrappers in the ground. You want to make sure the sidewalks and everything else around the street is clean, because your neighbors are going to get upset. And actually, even the city's going to fine you. We got fined 3 times for trash. So the tickets are about $250. And we're constantly cleaning up, but it seems like these folks are constantly dumping. And also other people in the neighborhood, they see your building, they come dump their couches and all this other stuff on the outside. Another thing that I hadn't anticipated was the dirt. You know, when you're digging, there's a lot of dust and dirt, and it comes out here onto the street. That's a huge fine. That could be a $10,000 fine, because it clogs the so you can see there's a little bit of buildup there of dirt. We had rain and it washed some of it out. I got to clean that up, because if the city sees it and they see it building up here, like in the sewer drain, they'll fine you about $10,000. So it's pretty huge. Now, these fences are great. You know, initially we were like, well, what do we need a fence for? We don't want to pay $600 for this. You could see all the graffiti that's on it. If we hadn't done that, that would be all over our building. And also it keeps people off. You know, we're here in Los Angeles. There's a lot of homeless folks around here, and they're constantly wandering around here. We have a porta potty, and we had to put a padlock on it, because people were going in there and they were just making complete mess. They were just messing it up. I mean, I think they were like sleeping in there. And even during the day when we're working, I'd say at least 2 or 3 times a day when we're here, and I'm not even here the whole day, I'm usually out picking up supplies or something, people will come in and ask if they can use the bathroom. Especially right now during COVID, a lot of the restaurants are closed, McDonald's and gas stations, they don't want people to use their bathrooms. So public bathrooms are in short supply right now. So you definitely want to keep a padlock on your porta potty and make sure you get one for your employees. You don't want them, even if you do have your own bathroom, you don't want them going into your house, because you sometimes have we've had like 15 guys here a day, and the floor is all muddy and it's just going to make a big mess inside of your house. You know, the porta potty is only like $75 a month, which is pretty cheap. It's a $150 deposit. I mean, it's really a steal. They come every week and clean it. They restock it with toilet paper, and it's just great. Now here's the foundation here, the concrete slab. And let me show you a short video about this. This is real interesting how we made this slab, so you can see how it looked before this building was on it. So here's the gentleman here slabbing out the concrete. They're making sure that everything's nice and smooth. He's also following the angle so that there's a slope. You want to have a slope to driveway, that the water doesn't sit. It looks very easy, but it takes some skill. And you can see the other gentleman in the background using a board to flatten things out. So here you can see the gentleman laying up the concrete to the slab. There's the pourer. He's getting the concrete from the concrete truck over there, which is connected to the pump. So the pump is just usually a separate charge. And there's the guy from the concrete truck pouring it. Coming to the water hose here, or the cement hose. Here's the pump for laying it out. And we got 3 of these finishers here, these gentlemen, flattening it all out and making sure that the concrete is maintaining its slope, so it's nice and smooth. And if you look at the sides here, you'll see there's some black lines there on the side of the wall. You see that? That's actually the angle. That kind of guides them to where they have to fill the concrete out. And what they want is it to be an angle so that the water will flow out of the garage in places with water in the garage. Okay, so here is the frame now. Let me go over the frame. So we talked to many contractors, and we literally got bids from like $50,000 to $400,000 to build this. So there's no set prices in construction. So you really have to negotiate, because you really don't know what you're getting, and the prices go all over the place. So we were lucky enough to find someone that's really skilled. We looked over some of the other projects, licensed, and it was about $50,000. Again, there could be quite a variety of prices. Now, you see the plumbing here, same thing with the plumber, ended up costing us about $10,000. And we usually pay all our materials separately because it's easier to negotiate prices based on labor. If you include materials, what ends up happening is a lot of times the contractors will buy the cheapest stuff available. You don't want that. You're gonna get a bunch of cheap-made, Chinese-made products. They're gonna break down. So you wanna get quality products. It's better if you buy it yourself. And I do recommend you buy good quality products. Otherwise, this stuff's gonna start breaking down. You're gonna have a lot of repairs, especially if you plan on renting these places. So we got good quality product. You can see that black pipe there, that's cast iron. Now that cost us about an extra $1,000 for the building, but it's worth it because it's gonna make it into a quality building. If we use the plastic pipes, like these for drains, you're gonna see these guys, these are cheap. These are like $8 or something. But you're gonna hear water running to your walls every time someone goes to the toilet. So it sounds really ghetto. You don't want that, especially if you wanna have like a nice building. Now, in terms of the plumbing, the pipes, you could use copper, but this stuff is just as good, if not better. And it's way cheaper, and it's really good quality, it doesn't leak. You can see these pipes there. They're like plastic tubing, and it's specifically for plumbing. It's called PEX, and I really recommend it. We've been using it in other properties, and we haven't had any problems, and it's just like literally probably 10% of the price, and it's stronger, and you're not gonna have any leaks. Now that orange pipe there is the sprinkler system. Now that takes a little bit of time. Again, on that we got bids. That one people insist on including the materials, which is fine because it's stuff that's not easy to find. It's better if the contractor gets it. We got bids between 10 and 35,000. You know, we got someone for $10,000, so that really helped. Now again, we don't just go for the lowest bidder. We go lowest bidder. We also go on demeanor, like if the person's cool, they're easy to work with. Because, you know, when you're doing these construction projects, it can be quite stressful. And you don't want people that are like, you know, abrasive, you know, that are aggressive or demanding or whatever. You want people that are easy to work with. So that's real important. The electrician cost us about $3,000. We got bids up to $75,000. So just give you an idea of the scope. And the quality of the work here is A grade, and you know that allowed us to practice with him because we're studying electricity and we wanted someone that we could work with to teach us. Now the materials here, the wood, unfortunately we just had a bunch of fires here in California, and the wood literally jumped up from like $30,000 to about $90,000. We looked all over, and there's really not much you can do for raw materials. That's just what you're gonna pay. Same thing with the concrete here for the slab. We were looking at about $7,000. I think we spent about $22,000. Again, because of all the fires, there's a lot of construction here in California. But you know, you don't want to delay your construction just for, I mean, sure, it's a lot of money, but here in Los Angeles anyway, it's still worth it to blow the extra like $80,000 on materials, but you'll get your property to market and you'll be able to rent it. You have to have these notices up or you're gonna get in trouble with the city. So just make it easy on yourself. Some of those are for COVID-19. Then there's the building permit. Those have to be easily on display. There's some Michael Jackson shoes there that someone spray painted and attached. We have the scaffolding here. This is pretty important, especially if you're gonna build a large building. You're gonna need this stuff, and you can't really. We got about 3 months worth. Actually, we got it down to 4 months for $5,000, which is a good deal, and it's just really expensive, but it's gonna save you a lot of money on labor costs. So you definitely want to get this, and it's gonna be safer for your employees. So don't do things that are gonna put your employees at risk. One, because it's not nice. And two, because you're gonna get sued, and you're gonna get sued big time. Make sure your subcontractors have workers' comp insurance. Buy yourself some liability insurance. We got like $1 million insurance here. You know, it's only like $1,000. I mean, that's great because you might have someone fall or break a leg or whatever. You can see there's a lot of dangers here, so don't put yourself at risk. You can insure the building. We got insurance, it was about $2,000, and it insures all the building in case it burns down or something like that. Because this is not automatically covered by the homeowner's insurance that's on the property already. You have to buy a separate insurance policy. Now I want to show you this big pile of wood here. There's a lot of trash that builds up during the construction, unfortunately. There's a lot. And I estimated this pile of junk wood here, where there's a ton of it. I mean, I'm looking at about 10 truckloads here. It's probably about $10,000, $15,000 worth of dirt of wood, if I had to guess. So try to make sure that you guys are not wasting wood. There's not a lot you can do. Unfortunately, there's just a lot of waste in construction. But what we try to do to remediate some of that is we put ads. Hold on, this thing keeps cutting out. I don't know if you can still hear me. Okay, we put ads on Craigslist and give it away to people so they can put it to good use and they can use all this wood. So at the end of the day, you don't want trees to be wasted. So we have a lot of our supplies here. We have our gutters here. We have our insulation ready to go. You don't want to get too many materials, but you want to get everything you need and have everything that you need for the next step available. So you don't have workers standing on their hands. Otherwise that can be really expensive. So let me take you on a tour of the properties here. So here is the first unit, and here's all the framing done. You'll see the electrical wires there. We got a lot of the doors done here. Make sure there's the new windows. Make sure you do all this stuff properly so you don't have problems later on. You don't have to open it up again. All the doors have to be flashed. There's a metal flashing there. And on the outside, see that? There's flashing all the way around. And that's to waterproof it. And then above that, more flashing, and you're gonna have paper go down over that, which is gonna help waterproof it even more before they put the stucco on. You'll see the shims there where they're balancing the doors out. You wanna make sure everything's balanced so the doors close properly. There's the windows. When you're putting the windows in, you wanna make sure that there's a proper egress. So check your state and check the egress requirements. That's so that you can enter or actually leave the building if there's a fire. So this window here, for example, is 2 feet by 3 feet. That's not big enough because the part of if you split that in half, it's only about 1.5 feet that goes height-wise and 2 feet wide that opens. That's not enough per the state for someone to exit the building in case there's a fire. So if you don't have the right egress, the city's not going to approve your building. In contrast, if you see this building here, it's what they call a casement window. See how it's all one piece? The whole thing can open. That's 3 feet by 3 feet. Someone can easily get out of there in case there's a fire or something. So this is for safety reasons. Now, electrical, well, there's a lot of different supplies you can use. You can put solid metal bars. It's called, I should remember, but I don't remember right now. But there's a lot of options. But basically, you can use Romex. It's very inexpensive. It's easy to use, and it's basically this stuff here. You'll see there, it's like a white wire. There's a yellow version. The yellow's for the outlets, and the white is for the lights. All right, so here's one of the bedrooms. Here you can see the plywood here on the walls. That's called shear walls. Those are for earthquakes. You'll see all the pipes running through the wall there. Those are vents from the bathrooms. The orange is the sprinklers. You'll see the outlet there on the bottom, the blue one. All those cheap plastic boxes, those are fine. Those are for new construction. They work just fine. We put recessed lights on all these. We did the kind where you screw in a bulb because even though some of these say they're for life or something because they're LED or they last 30 or 40 years, they don't. A lot of them most of them are made in China, so they're low quality. They burn out quite frequently actually, even though you buy the best ones. So I recommend something you can just screw an old-fashioned bulb in and out of, whether it be LED bulb or whatever you like, halogen. Now here's one of the closets, and this is supposed to have a sliding glass door on it, but we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna use any sliding doors on any of the closets because in our experience managing buildings, that's a big problem. Tenants always run them off the rails and you have to be going in there to fix it all the time. So it's better just to put a door if you can do it. We're just gonna put a regular door right in the middle, a really nice door that's gonna look nice, but it's gonna be on hinges. So again, we're trying to prevent long-term, like having to do work, extra work for stuff that we don't need to do. We wanna make sure we're using high quality products and wanna make sure things that don't break very often with tenants. You'll see here's another closet, big opening. So instead of putting a door on one side or the other, we're gonna put it right in the middle. That way the tenants can reach left or right to get their clothing and stuff. Here's a bathroom here, and let me show you this with you. See that plumbing there? You'll see that's for a bathtub. It was actually on the opposite wall. So right now it's on the right side. It was on the left side. If we would have installed it there, it would have been on the outside of a 3-story building. So if we ever had to do any repairs, we would have had to get on the ladder and do plumbing repairs outside the building on the 3rd floor. Here's the roof before we put all the coating on. You can see here they're starting to lay down the paper. That's 28-pound paper. That's so that they can burn the roofing material onto it, which is reflective. It helps get rid of heat so that the building doesn't get hot. There's downtown Los Angeles. There's a bit of a view up here. And these skylights are really cool because they let a lot of light into both units. There are the drains. And the roof is sloped so that the moisture doesn't build up here when it rains. So now let's go down to the next floor. And another thing you want to keep in mind is you want to use as much space as you can. So you don't want to waste space. Here we have this beautiful staircase and there's a big space underneath there. You see that? We're going to put a small door on there. And yeah, it's only about 5 feet high, but that space is pretty big. So someone could put, you know, clothes in there, Christmas ornaments, whatever. It just gives you some extra space. So wherever you see that you can use it. Try not to waste space. Here's the second unit. It's a little bit smaller, and I really recommend this material there. You see that gray stuff there? That helps reflect heat. So not only are we going to put insulation on all the walls, on the outer walls that are facing south, because the sun rises in the south here where we are, we're going to apply this material. It comes in sheets. I actually could have bought the plywood with the material already stuck onto it, but I didn't think about it, to be honest. So I thought about it afterwards. This stuff is like a miracle. We've used it in other places and it really keeps the heat out. And because of global warming, it's getting really hot here in Los Angeles. So this will really cut down your cooling costs. We put this stuff down, and then on top of it, we're gonna put insulation. Use insulation as much as you can everywhere. You're only required to put it like on the ceiling and on the sidewalls. We put it on the ceiling of every floor because we don't like to hear background noise or people walking around or doing things in the room. And also in between all the interior walls. You don't want to hear your roommate, you know, making noises or whatever, or snoring. So, I mean, it really adds to the comfort level and the quality of your building if you use a lot of insulation. And don't use the really thin one, the cheap one. Use the thickest one that you can fit into your walls, is my opinion. So it helps for soundproofing. Yeah, insulation is great for the winter and for the summer, but you know, I don't like sound personally. I like it to be quiet, and it just creates a really peaceful space. So same thing with these doors and the windows. We bought high quality windows, and we actually added soundproofing to them, which wasn't much. It was only like $30 per window. It makes the windows really thick so that you don't have sound coming in from the street. So here's the balcony here. Now we had to hire ironsmith to make the rails for us, and we're just gonna get solid metal rails. If you get hollow, it's gonna rot. It's gonna last you about 10 years, you're gonna be fixing it. If you get solid metal, it's gonna last you about 30, 40, maybe longer if you varnish it. So it's gonna last basically longer than I'll probably be around the planet, which is perfect. So I don't have to repair it, or I don't have to come help my clients repair it. That's better. The balcony here, we got bids for about $8,000 to waterproof it. I found some materials on YouTube that sold on Amazon. It's about $200, and it waterproofs your balcony instead of $8,000. So it's very good. We've actually used other places, and we're gonna use it here. And again, you're not gonna really see the balcony from the street, so it just gives it a nice, decent color. There's gonna be a kitchen here. Again, here's another stairwell, we're gonna put a door there, and that's gonna be at a 5.5-foot door. And that's gonna allow us to, again, use that as storage. So the rails here, the banisters for the stairs, again, we're gonna use metal just because it's less problems. Interior doesn't matter. If you wanna get something softer, you can use wood. You know, it's just the weather that damages the metal on these things. So here's the other bathroom. We had the same issue with this one. See the plumbing? It was facing outside the building. So we switched it to the inside so that we didn't have to do repairs on the ladder on the 3rd floor. So little things like that are gonna save you a lot of time down the line. So here's the bedrooms. And same thing, we had to meet requirements for egress. So we had to get these big windows, and people have to be able to escape from those. The city requires that you put those in each bedroom. So that's the most important part. Now you'll see some water in here. It's been raining a lot here in Los Angeles, and we did get the roof on, but it's still coming into the sidewalls. We're not able to put the paper on because we haven't finished the electricity, so the city won't allow us to. So that's not a problem. The water dries out. You know, in other situations, I've been worried about tarps and stuff. The tarps don't really work very much. It's just wood, and it doesn't get damaged. It's already rained like 3 times. Nothing happens to it. In fact, the wood probably just sucks it up and makes it fresher. So you don't have any issues with that. One thing I want to share with you is this window here. Now this bathroom had no windows, and we went ahead and changed the plans and added a small window, because even though it does have vent, all of our bathrooms have electric vents, that just doesn't work as well. And if you don't have a window, try to get as big of a window as you can fit into your bathroom, because otherwise you're gonna have mold. And mold is a big problem. You know, you get people that are really touchy about mold, and it's just not worth the hassle. You know, a lot of people don't clean very good. You know, they take these hot showers and then they start growing mold in there because there's no ventilation. So sure, when you have the vent on, it's gonna get a lot of that stuff out of there. But once you turn it off, it's not venting. And you know, and as you know, after you take a shower, the moisture stays in there, could stay in there for hours. So with the window, you can just leave it cracked, and that's always letting air in. So it really helps. And also it gives you some light. You want to have lots of light in your building. You don't want to have to be using electricity all the time. And it just feels more homey. It feels better when you have light. So we actually installed a skylight. Now skylights can be a real problem if you don't install them properly. But these are really, really good. They're from Georgia. They're made in America. They're good quality. They're called Bilco. And they're quite expensive, but they're good. They're glass. You can see the clouds up there. You can see the stars. That lets a lot of sunlight in, and it's really cool. There's a latch up there. You can see that handle, and that's gonna allow for us to be able to open that later on and use the roof as a deck with the view of downtown LA. So it's gonna give a lot of advantages. Sure, it was expensive, but it's gonna add a lot to the building. It's gonna give it a lot of natural sunlight. It's gonna make it feel a lot warmer. So here's some of the strategies we used, and I hope this helps. You'll see here some of our neighbors. We can look down on the roofs and stuff. And actually that type of stucco you see there, which is really smooth, it's the really expensive one, I do not recommend. We've tried it before and it cracks. It's just not good quality. If you just get the old stucco like that one, the one that looks like popcorn or something, that stuff will last forever and it doesn't crack as easy. So again, just try to be safe, you know, be cool with your employees. You know, it's not easy to find reliable workers that are honest. So be nice to them. You know, we bring a lot of snacks, you know, nuts, fruits, candies, you know, we give out gift cards for lunches and stuff like that, you know, because this is a team effort, right? You got a bunch of different people working here. You got plumbers, electricians, you got framers, you got stucco guys, you got concrete pumpers, and on and on and on. And a lot of times these guys, you know, they're young, they got a lot of testosterone, and honestly, they have a lot of conflicts. They start arguing with one another. And it's good to create like a nice, easy environment. You know, be nice to everybody. People make mistakes, you know, be understanding, work things out. And then they're going to be calling you a lot. They call us quite a bit. You know, this guy won't do this. Hey, this guy won't move his car. Hey, the plumber's in my way. And just try to, like, you know, work things out. Don't blame anything for anyone. Don't say anyone told you this or that. Don't, you know, someone wants to complain, listen to them and just say, I'll take care of it. And then, you know, don't take care of it, but don't say, hey, this guy told me. Just try to handle it on your own. That way there's peace. It's going to make things easier for you. So I hope that helps, and we'll give you a little tour once we start going through the finishing of the project. But this is about a year already, and I guess a lot of it's kind of been slow because of the pandemic also. That's definitely affected us. A lot of our workers have gotten sick. You know, a lot of people haven't been available. It's been an issue, but it's working out just fine. Thank you for joining us on this tour of the property. Hope this helps you. And if you have any questions, please comment below, and please subscribe to this channel so we can keep making content to help you guys with your real estate investing and with your other goals. Thanks again. From Los Angeles, California, this is Ernesto. Goodbye.